Okay, Abby, I'm going to ask you some questions before you begin reading a passage. Then after I ask you some questions, I'm going to ask you to make a prediction about what you might be reading.
All right.
What is Saudi Arabia? Do you have any idea what is Saudi Arabia?
Nope.
No?
No idea.
Okay.
Never heard of it.
All right. What are problems with living in the desert?
Problems would probably be living in the desert. I would say, food and water.
Why would food and water be a problem in the desert?
Well, pretty much the only stuff that you really see are cactuses and some types of animals and birds. But really, it would kind of be hard to hunt those animals and birds because they're mostly nocturnal. And cactuses, have heard of eating cactuses, but I would kind of think they're very hard to boil and cut without getting hurt. And in the desert, there's pretty much no hospital or doctor office to go to. Pretty much you have to wrap your wounds yourself.
Okay. What does raising animals in the desert mean to you?
Probably raising animals in the desert would probably be a very, very important part of the desert, of living in the desert, because that means if it was like a sheep or something, you could get wool for clothing and sheep meat or lamb. You know, during spring, so that means you have the lambs again to eat or save for wool.
Okay. All right. Thank you. What are oases? Or an oasis?
Oasis? I think it's some type of flower or something.
Okay. So, based on the questions I asked you, what do you think you might be reading about?
I think I might be reading about some person living in the desert.
Okay. All right. You're actually going to be reading a passage titled Saudi Arabia, and it has something to do with the desert.
All right.
Okay. In just a minute, I'm going to be asking you to read that passage, and then I'll be asking